just got out of the pool, and I want to show you one of my absolutely favorite new kitchen. Oh my God, the Ninja. Saves time, saves energy, it's so easy, clean up. This little baby, oh, so nice. This little baby does everything, especially if you're a family of like 2 or 3. I have the smallest Ninja, which I think is for 4 people. So it's about this big, you know, and today we're gonna be doing chicken. So I could squeeze 3. I don't like to squeeze. I'm gonna do 2 or 3 at a time, probably 2 at a time, because I have 4. We'll see. But I wanted to share with you my love of the Ninja, the air fryer. Show you how easy and fast, in 15 minutes or around 15 minutes, we're gonna have chicken thighs roasted to perfection. And then I'm gonna finish them off in a homemade Mexican Molé sauce made by Tony's brother. Tony works with my husband, Pat, and he just gives us the best Mexican sauces and hot chili oils that they make. But this Molé sauce, and I've asked Pat to interview Tony today and get his, you know, about his brother, where he lives in Mexico and how he makes it, what ingredients go into the Molé sauce, because this is a particularly great Molé sauce that I'm going to show you. But first, we gotta get the chicken going. I'm going to do that right now. And while we're eating, or after we eat, or whatever, I'll be cleaned up. I want to do Let's Chat and Cook a Chicken. I want to talk about my new Wayne Dyer book that I just finished. I think this is like my 5th Wayne Dyer book. I'm just obsessed with him. Your Erroneous Zones. I know it sounds a little what's the word? Risque. It's not. I didn't say erogenous zones. I said your erroneous zones. And it's a step-by-step advice for escaping the trap of negative thinking and taking control of your life. And to be honest, the first, I don't know, at least half of the book, I wasn't as thrilled with it as I was his others, because it had a little bit of well, it's about negative thinking, so I felt a little negative while I was reading it. But by the last 3 or 4 chapters, gold. And that's what I'm going to share with you. Okay. Start by preheating the air fryer to about 390 degrees for about 5 minutes before you're going to put the chicken in. I'll start by preparing the chicken thighs to go into the Ninja air fryer. I just use a little bit of olive oil, maybe like a tablespoon, to spread amongst the 4 chicken thighs, and I'll massage it in on both sides, and salt and pepper, and that's it. Chicken thighs with skin on is my favorite cut of chicken. I love having the skin on because it keeps, well, I love crispy skin, but also keeps the meat moist. And the chicken thighs have the darker meat and richer, in my opinion, so I like the flavor better, and I believe they're moister. After the air fryer is preheated, about 5 minutes, you're going to put the chicken thighs in, and they're going to cook for 16 minutes, 8 minutes per side. Just flip them at the 8-minute mark. They're not crowded, and I'm putting skin side down because after I flip, I like to end on the skin side up, so I see how crisp they look and golden to know when they're done. When the first batch comes out, I just put them on the tray, cover them with foil, and let them rest and let the juices reabsorb into the chicken. Okay. Stop that. Ooh, second batch is done. Oh, wow. I cooked them in batches of 2. Oh, beautiful. Look how golden and crispy they are. You know what? It's Salty's birthday today. She's 13. And she just woke up in a mood. I'll be right back. Okay. So, like I was saying, she's 13. She's eating her lunch now. She just woke up. I'm going to save, I don't know if you can see it. It's very hot. Be careful. I'm going to save the nice chicken juice that rendered out of the chicken as it was cooking, because I'm going to add that to the mole sauce. So, I like to do things, you know, like not right before dinner. I do them in phases. So I've cooked the chicken just plain. I had olive oil, salt, and pepper. That's it, in the air fryer. And now I'm just gonna let them sit until Packet's home. And then I'm gonna cook them in the mole sauce. Really, probably only take like 5 minutes, but 5 or 10 minutes. I want I'm gonna put green peppers in with the chicken and the mole sauce and make some rice. And that'll give the chicken time to absorb that mole sauce. But right now, at least I've got my chicken done. That's the hardest part, because I did them in batches of 2, so I didn't crowd the air fryer, and they cook better. And each round took about 15 minutes, and I flipped it around 7 or 8 minutes. I flipped them over, and they're nice and crispy. Can you hear that? Anyway, so I'm just going to cover these, and we're going to continue to cook a little more, and they'll be ready, and then we'll cook them in the mole sauce. I'm going to start by just softening my vegetables that are going to go with the chicken. I'm going to use green pepper and some onions and just cook them down for about, I don't know, 5 or 8 minutes in some olive oil before adding the mole sauce. I added back in that rendered chicken juice from the air fryer that I reserved. I put that into the vegetables, and now I'm adding the mole sauce. The mole sauce tends to be quite thick, so that rendered chicken juice is nice to sort of break it up a bit. Authentic mole sauce is a Mexican sauce made with chilies, spices, nuts, and other various ingredients. And most mole recipes, such as the one I'm using from Tony's brother, contain chocolate. The sauce is known for its rich and earthy and nutty flavor, and it can be used as a sauce or a marinade. What I really love is the rich, deep flavor, but also look how it just melts down into this glossy, beautiful, thick sauce. Lovely. Once the mole sauce has sort of melted down within a few minutes, you can tell when it looks like a nice glossy sauce. You can go ahead and add the chicken back in and flip it around a couple of times to get it nicely coated. I add in a little bit of lime juice at this point and maybe a little chicken stock or water to loosen up the sauce. I like to add a nice handful of cilantro here to finish as well. Here's a nice entertaining tip. Make this chicken in your Dutch oven. Once you're done cooking it, like we are right now, just turn off the heat, put the lid on, and it can really sit there safely for at least 30 minutes to an hour before your guest comes, so you're not racing around trying to finish the chicken. And then you just pull off the lid when your guests arrive, and voila. I like to garnish it with some fresh cut scallions and a little more fresh cilantro, and then I serve it with a side of cilantro lime rice. Add some nice fresh avocado, maybe some little baby tomatoes for color and freshness, and you've got yourself a beautiful chicken mole dinner. Now it's time for the Let's Chat portion of Let's Chat and Cook a Chicken. How'd you like that chicken mole? Oh, if I can get the clip of Tony that works with my husband Pat to describe, how his brother in Mexico made it and what ingredients go into the mole sauce, I will have the clip in this video. He didn't get to do it yesterday. They're working. They don't have time for all my YouTube requests. Oh, God.
So I'm here with Tony Morante, and he's going to tell us about his brother who makes mole. So, Tony, your brother lives where?
Santa Clara, Hidalgo.
And that's north of Mexico City. And your brother's name again?
Aurelio
Morante.
Morante.
So tell us a little bit about what he puts in the mole as far as ingredients.
He put 5 different dry peppers, and almonds, peanuts, chocolate tablets, plantains, and charcoal tortilla.
Charcoal tortilla is the specialty, right? That's what gives it the smoky flavor?
Smoky flavor.
Yeah. So that's great. Well, thank you, Tony. And I'm sure Sue will appreciate this. It's coming from right from the horse's mouth.
Horse's mouth.
All right, bye-bye.
Tony was so gracious to share some of the ingredients that go into his brother Aurelio's beautiful mole sauce. And I found some clips on Aurelio's Facebook of the...
Preparar nuestro platillo Un rico delicioso mole casero, dabo.
Of the beautiful Mexican pottery that he cooks the mole sauce in, so I thought I'd share those as well. Tony and I share a love of food, and I give him my sourdough bread, and he in return shares some of his brother's famous chili sauces and this mole sauce. So thank you, Tony. Tony also told me that his brother adds cinnamon sticks, anise seeds, sesame seeds, graham crackers. There's a lot going on in that delicious mole, and I may need to descend on his beautiful area where he lives and find out exactly how he makes it. Shh. As I said, you know, in the theme of my YouTube, Let's Chat and Cook a Chicken, we cooked the chicken. Now we're gonna chat. Yeah, I love reading. I'm still on my Wayne Dyer kick, and as I said, we're going to discuss your Erroneous Zones. So the book is a step-by-step advice for escaping the trap of negative thinking and taking control of your life. And so while reading this book, I think I said in the first clip, I didn't really love well, you know what? You got to finish the book all the way through. Because I could say I didn't really love the first part of the book because it seemed like the first half, it kind of made me feel negative, but that's what it's all talking about, negative thinking. So you're kind of you're reading it and you're thinking a little bit negatively. But by the end, look at all the doggy ears at the end. It really picked up speed and it's gold. So I decided to do my sort of book review today, if you will. Let's Chat and Cook a Chicken. It's going to turn into a book review, maybe. Because everybody needs, this is like great advice. Everybody needs it. Doesn't matter what age you are. But I decided after reading this book and going through my notes that it would be easiest if I sort of worked from the back of the book forward. Because the back of the book kind of gives you the punchline. Some people have a habit of just reading the last chapter of the book first or the last page of the book first. That's not my habit. People who have eliminated your erroneous zones are living much happier lives and they're better people. They're more self-aware. They look at self-destructive behavior and they curtail it or they change it or they eliminate it. So that's the goal. After you read this book, you want to figure out what your erroneous zones are and how to change and get rid of them. Because those same people that don't live with erroneous zones, they're people that you like, that you like to be around. They seem to have an absence of complaining and grumbling and people that go, a lot. No sighing is coming out of these kind of people. You're strikingly independent, which is good. There's no codependencies going on with you. You live in the now, you don't live in the past, you don't worry about the future. They also are not approval seekers, which many of us fall into that trap. You know, you want to seek the approval of certain people. You don't need their approval to be happy internally. And they are doers. And when I talk about doers, there's doers and there's critics. Doers are people that are doing, taking risks, living outside their comfort zone, not worrying about approval. Critics are the ones that kind of like armchair critics. They sit back and they watch the doers doing. They go, oh, I wouldn't do that. Oh, I wouldn't do that. But they're not doing. It's easy to criticize. It's not easy to do. Doing takes more courage. And I think maybe my favorite one from the people that have eliminated erroneous zones, my most favorite benefit in which I strive, I think the most to achieve, is that these people are helpers. Almost always they're engaged in work that is making people's lives better, more pleasant, and more tolerable. Remember what I said, is that I'm trying to make people's lives just better, happier, and they're finding their joy. So even though it was a little bit hard getting through the beginning of the book, well worth it, gold at the end. So I'm going to enjoy my salad and I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about what those erroneous zones are. And hopefully they can help you identify if you are living with any of those in your behavior and how to change it. Now we know the goal, the end goal of reading this book. Let's get into a little bit of the details of what these erroneous zones or these self-destructive behaviors, self-nullifying behaviors are. In Dr. Wayne Dyer's debut work, he provides practicality and accessibility to identifying your erroneous zones, or in other words, your internal barriers which hinder our ability to lead prosperous lives. These are some of the erroneous zones or the self-destructive behaviors that Wayne outlines in his book that we want to eradicate because they are immobilizing to us most times. Needing validation from external sources, unable to control feelings, overly critical and judgmental, complainer, labeling yourself based on your past. Are you a blamer, a fault finder? Dependencies, codependency in relationships. Are you overly ridden with guilt and worry about the unknown, fear of the unknown, immobilizing anger, procrastination, just a few. So enjoy these lovely pictures of Maine. I just came back from Maine where I was reading this book and immersed in it, and I had all this lovely scenery and people, my loved ones and friends to be around to just enjoy life and be happy. And so I was reading the book, with this as the backdrop, and it gave me time to relax and unwind and think about what are my erroneous zones. It's usually good to find yourself in a good sort of peaceful place to do some good soul searching. Each chapter in this book kind of is like a counseling session, really. So it's so good. It's a very quick read, and each section is short. It doesn't, belabor things. It's not highly scientific or psychological terms that no one can understand. It's really, he writes a great book. I can't stress enough. But very first chapter, his counseling session is guilt and worry. That's an erroneous zone. People that have a lot of guilt and worry. You feel guilty about things you do in your past with other people. That's not exactly my big thing, but worry. The worry is, I worry. I am working on that. I have identified it. I've been working on it. It's taking years. It's the turtle, the tortoise versus the hare. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I am winning. I'm winning the war of the worry. I'm not so much a worrier anymore. Another erroneous zone is you can't control your feelings. A big one for people is that you're not motivated from within, you're motivated with external forces. Again, you're giving up control to living up to certain standards that someone else created, or you need approval from someone outside of you, seeking approval at work, your family, whatever, but who really cares what people think, honestly? If you feel happy internally, that's all that matters. People that are hung up on justice and fairness, it's another erroneous zone, because let me tell you something, life ain't fair. The sooner you realize that, life ain't fair. You gotta just go with it, baby. Just go with go with that. Don't try to be, it's not fair, why did it happen to me, blah, blah, blah. You will never get out of that groove. A complainer, that's another erroneous zone. People that complain a lot. That's again giving up control. Why is this person doing this? Why did this guy cut me off? Complain. It's not getting you anywhere. Another favorite of mine in this book, again, you resonate with certain chapters more than others, the doer versus the critic. So an erroneous zone is if you're a critic as opposed to a doer. You want to get into the zone of being a doer. And a doer is a person that takes chances, takes risks, lives outside their comfort zone, challenges themselves. They're actively doing things. A critic is someone that criticizes the doer, quite frankly. They these armchair critics, they sit back and, oh my gosh, why is that person doing that? Oh, that's silly, or that's stupid, or whatever. I wouldn't do it like that. Well, chances are high the critic isn't doing anything. It's very easy to criticize. It's not very easy to do. That takes bravery, courage, energy, action, effort, time. Okay, so doer. People that are afraid of the unknown. That's again comes back to worry. You worry. What if this, what if that? What if, things out in the unknown you worry about? Why worry about them? Because you don't know if they're ever gonna happen. Chances are high they won't. Here, by the time we get to the end, here's some of the ending ones. These are really some juicy ones. Dependency. Are you a codependent person? Do you have a lot of dependency in a relationship? Not healthy. Are you a blamer, a fault finder? We don't want to play the blame game, because blame, again, takes your happiness out of your control. Oh, he hurt me, or she did this to this person, or this happened at work and that, made me mad. You're giving away your power, and it's all about, keeping your power and not giving it away. So don't be a blamer. Just do what you got to do to make yourself happy. Instead of saying, he hurt me, well, step away from that person that's constantly hurting you. That's making a choice. You're making a good choice. Big one right near the end, the second to last chapter, I think it was anger. Anger is a real immobilizer. Anger can paralyze you, and it serves no function. Well, that there's always the two sides to the coin. What do these erroneous zones, how do they serve you? So anger, let's take the example of anger. Anger can serve, again, to put the blame on someone else. I'm so mad that they did this or that, or I would never do that. Why can't they be more like me? Okay, that's the ego talking. But anger can really immobilize you and hurt relationships, obviously. And it's a way of not taking responsibility for yourself and your actions and blaming someone else. There's a lot to anger, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more. It's a way of manipulating too, quite frankly. Anger is a way of controlling someone, manipulating someone, and not taking responsibility for your own choices and decisions. Yikes, watch out. Procrastination, we all do it to different degrees, but that's another erroneous zone. And there's reasons why procrastination serves you, because you want to be lazy, something seems too hard, you don't want to fail at something, so you put it off, but the more you put it off, the harder it gets. One thing I really loved about this book is Wayne didn't just identify what your erroneous zones are, and that's why in the book he says each chapter is like a counseling session. Yes, he identifies, here's the behavior, the self-destructive behavior. Do you do it? Do you not do it? And if you do it, he also has solutions, like how to attack that erroneous zone. So the book makes it's cathartic, it's healing, it's therapeutic. It doesn't just, I don't like books that just, they feel negative all the time. They leave you feeling like, well, I have all those bad habits, what do I do about it? This has solutions. So I love that, and they're really good. And he doesn't just have like one, he's got like 8 things to try, like say anger. Again, I'm on anger kick, because gosh, I don't like to be around angry people. They scare me, it can escalate, there's a lot of things to it. And they don't have a grip. So getting a grip on lengthening your fuse, he says, with anger. Whenever you're out of control and you're angry about something, you take it out on the other person. You just shift the blame to them. You shift the responsibility on them. Oh, how convenient. Make it all about them. It's a handy excuse. But you know what? It doesn't serve you, because you generally probably don't feel good. You feel temporarily insane, because when you're out of control with your emotions, you are clinically called insane, and you really hurt the other person. It can be debilitating for them. It's abuse. It's abusive. It's controlling, it's manipulative, it's abusive, and it's a way to control and keep sort of a dependency in the relationship, and it ain't good. It ain't good. And usually the person on the receiving end, if they are aware and healthy enough, they will just leave. So that will be the losing part for you. So you're not serving yourself by being angry, although you think you're controlling them. You will lose them. So if that was your end goal, well then I guess you won. But generally that's not the end goal. The anger is just you don't know what to do. You're frustrated. But in here, some designs for replacing anger can be eliminated, he says. It will require a great deal of new thinking, new ways of thinking in the present moment. So when you first feel that anger, coming up, first and foremost, get in touch with your thoughts at the time of your anger and remind yourself that you don't have to think that way simply because you've always done it in the past. That's the awareness is paramount, the awareness, okay? You feel it gurgling up, you feel your neck getting red, you feel your heart racing, you're gonna get angry, you're gonna explode. Try to take a breath, to count to 5, postpone the anger. Here's a good one. Announce after you've had an angry outburst that you've just slipped up, and then you realize it, and that one of your goals is to think differently so that you don't experience this anger and take it out on people that you love. Just that verbal announcement alone, that recognition, will put you in touch with what you've done, and it will demonstrate to the other person as well as yourself that you're truly working on things and you recognize things. That's really key. Being aware and stopping it. It's like when the bicycle wheel keeps turning, you've got to stick a stick in the spoke and stop it. Stop that cycle. That's key. Anyway, that's about anger. The whole book, every counseling session, every chapter, he calls it identifies the erroneous zone, and it gives you really great strategies to try and change those things to work on every day. It's great. If you can eradicate these erroneous zones in your life, you can really feel so much happiness each day internally, and not just yourself, you're helping others, because again, those people that have eliminated erroneous zones, they're people who love life. They're people who other people want to be around. They're people that spread joy, create joy, and help others create joy. There's a few people in our lives, but there's one really special person in my husband and I, Pat, in our lives, who, while I was reading this book, his name kept popping, his face, his actions, the way he lives kept popping into my brain. And I said, you know what, I gotta call him out. OB, John O'Brien, you seem to embody the spirit of a person who's eliminated many of your erroneous zones. How about that? And we are happy and blessed and lucky to be your friend, because you do spread joy. You love life. You don't complain. You don't seem to worry. You create an atmosphere of fun. You always live in the now. I mean, I can go on and on. But after reading this book, John O'Brien, you embody the spirit of someone that has eradicated erroneous zones. So we're happy to know you and be your friend. I hope you enjoyed the chicken mole, and I hope you enjoyed my book review of your erroneous zones. I'm gonna do more of this format, with Let's Chat and Cook a Chicken, because it's a nice way to introduce you to some books that I really love, and keep us all growing, reading, learning. Because I want to make a little announcement. Well, it's a teaser, because we were in Maine, my beloved Maine, where we lived for 25 years. That's why I haven't been YouTubing. I was spending time living. And probably in a month, I'm gonna have a really exciting, happy announcement to make. And I can't tell you yet, but all of this stuff I've been doing all year, the changes, the reading, the 75 hard, the living outside my comfort zone, everything I'm preaching about, I'm doing it. And I've made some really nice changes, and I've seen some really good results, and I'm going to share those with you probably next month. Yes, definitely next month. And they've been good. So I'm walking the walk, with all you guys, and I hope everything's helping. We're making some good food. We're chatting about life. We're making life a little more delicious and easier. So I won't be doing my YouTubes every single week, because things are happening here and it's a little bit busy, which you'll find out about, but probably every other week to at least once a month, but maybe more shorts. So thank you for joining me this week. I hope you enjoyed it. what do they say? Smash that like button. Like, subscribe, share, whatever. But definitely the most important thing is to put comments down below for me, so I can know you're out there. I can know what you want to talk about, or how something has affected you, that you liked, that you didn't like. I am open. I am a doer, but I'm open to some feedback, and I appreciate it. So have a great week, all of you. See you next time.